Okay, we are live. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Man, I tell you, I had a great week, great 2 weeks. I've been across the state of Florida. Last week I was in Daytona Beach on the Atlantic side, and then this week I was over in Tampa Bay, St. Pete area on the Gulf side, and I've had a great time. It's been great out here, getting rejuvenated, getting re-energized. Had a great time at the Asties. You'll be seeing videos coming the next couple of days of stuff we've done at the Asties. Just a great time. Got to meet so many people that I see here on the live that I finally got to put a face to the actual screen names and stuff. And it was just a wonderful time. If you hadn't had a chance to ever make it to the Asties, it's something I think everybody should uh, at least try to do at least one time. Try to get out to the Asties because like I say, the fun that we have there and the stuff that we do is you just we try to capture it in video, but just the whole essence of everybody out there, the videos just don't do it justice. So it is good to have that. Right now, we're going to be coming to you tonight with a special guest. We have a special guest in the house. We're going to have Mr. Camari Ellis. Camari Ellis is the financial rebel. And he's going because right now we're getting ready to get into the tax season. We all are entrepreneurs. And with the entrepreneurs, now we got to be starting to send out 1099s, W-2s. We got tax questions strictly about business. And what Kamari is going to do, I'm going to bring him on, and Kamari is going to actually answer. I got 5 questions that I get quite a bit from the alumni and people in general pertaining to tax season now, as far as the small business owners. And Kamari is very, very knowledgeable about taxes, and I'm going to bring him on now and we're going to jump into asking some of these questions. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Then we'll jump into ask some of these questions. And if somebody has a question, right here will be a link, and I'll give you a link in the description for you to actually come. You can come on and ask a question, or you can put it in the chat, and we can answer the question there. This right here is going to be really good. And for you all who have asked me these questions, if you all listening, he'll give you the answer. Because some of you all have asked me this, and I say you need to consult your CPA. But Kamari is very, very knowledgeable in taxes, so we're going to bring him on and let him introduce himself. Can you hear us, Mr. Camari Ellis?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good, good, good.
All right. Thank you for having me on.
Glad for you to be here. Now, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Now, you're Camari Ellis, and your YouTube channel is The Financial Rebel.
The Finance Rebel.
Finance Rebel.
Yep.
And the link is in the description. If you hadn't already, y'all go over and subscribe to his channel, and also share it to your family and friends. He put out great information.
Thank you.
How did you get into the tax into the tax world that you're doing?
I was born into it. I didn't have a choice. It was an arranged marriage that I didn't consent to. But in all seriousness, my dad was an accountant. I was a latchkey kid. My mom was at work, so he had an office, and every day, or almost every day, I would have to go to school and go to his office. And so I would wreak havoc in his office because I was a little kid. I'm shooting rubber bands. I'm talking to the employees. I'm bending paper clips, costing him all kinds of money. And then he said, "You know what? You can read. You can read, right?" I said, "Yeah, read this book, and then we're going to work on something."
Okay.
And then from there, I was like 12. I usually don't tell people that, but I was like 12, and he started me doing taxes. He was like, "You want to do something?" And then that's where it started from there. Now I tell everybody I hated tax when I was growing up because I thought it was boring, and probably because son, dad, competition is always there. I didn't want to do it, but what I realize now that it was a blessing because I got to see so many positive people, so many business owners, so many people that didn't just settle for whatever's given to them in life and they were actually going for it, right, wrong, or indifferent. And it was a really blessing because I got to see so many different things. I like it myself. I'm being a little arrogant right now, right? But it's like Floyd Mayweather. Some people say
Uh-huh.
Floyd is the best boxer ever. But when you look at the way Floyd grew up, he wouldn't have been able to be like this if it wasn't for his father and his uncle. So he grew up in that environment. So you could have found a cat that with the same talent level as Floyd, but without having that environment that fostered him to be a better boxer or to be a boxer, Floyd might not be the way he is now. So I liken that kind of to my dad. I grew up around it. I've seen it all. I've seen a lot. So, it's kind of the same thing. I'm a Floyd Mayweather of taxes.
Right. So now that you got over the hate part of it, do you love it now, the taxes?
I love it and I appreciate it because the other
Oh,
thing was my start in taxes. I actually ran my father's shop, so I wasn't just there as just an employee. I actually was a manager. I wasn't the owner because I got to run his shop. He was still the owner. He was still the boss, but he wasn't there. So I had to interface with clients. I learned how to interface with clients. I learned customer service. I learned the importance of customer service. And that education to me was invaluable. But I went on from doing tax to then becoming a financial advisor and then becoming a stock market portfolio manager as well. So all of those things were possible because of that foundation my father laid.
man, that's great. That's great. Well, tonight we have some aspiring entrepreneurs, people who jump into the entrepreneurship field, and now tax times is coming, and they've ran into some snags. And I'm getting a bunch of these emails and calls of Sneeze, what I need to do. These are the problems I'm running into. So I took the top five problems that they're asking me, and I'm just going to ask you your advice because I told them they need to ask a CPA or somebody more astute in taxes. So I found you, and I said this is going to be perfect. So the first question that I'm getting right now, people we teach entrepreneurship, and people are coming to learn how to start their own business, and especially in the appliance repair field. And they come to the class, and then I teach them how to register the LLCs and how to go out and get an EIN number. And then usually that following day or later on that day, somebody pulls me to the side and say, "Hey, Sneed, man, I got to talk to you." I said, "What's going on?" "Well, I haven't filed my taxes in about 6 or 7 years. So
Mhm.
what do I need to do to start to get my LLC and get an EIN number and get back even board with the federal government?"
Right. I mean, honestly, the real truth, I could give y'all a bunch of lies, but you could owe back taxes. It wouldn't matter. You can still create a business. You can still start a business. You can still register your EIN. You can still register your LLC. Now, the one thing I do caution a lot of people in, because everybody's kind of LLC crazy,
Mhm.
depending on what state you're in, you got to be careful about that because some states will charge you an annual filing fee and you won't have any profits. So if you might not have made a red cent and they'll still charge you. So for example, California, you,
Yeah.
you won't make a dime. They'll charge you $800.
Mhm.
Massachusetts, I think, is 8 or 500. New York is either 8 or 500. Maryland's 300. I
Mhm.
think New Jersey's 150 or 160, somewhere around there. So you just got to be careful. You just got to be careful.
Okay. So they could actually still get an EIN registered the LLC because is it because of the business itself is its own entity and
That is correct.
it's not going to affect their tax thing.
Well, the business itself is its own entity, but what people have to realize is America was founded by farmers. And what are farmers? Entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So business is part of the overall fabric of America. Right, wrong, or indifferent. We ain't going to get political tonight, but just talking about the mindset of many of the people starting out. So you could have rec credit, owe taxes, start a new business, start over again, pay off all your old stuff, and you'll be fine. Now, sometimes will it come into factors and other things? Maybe you won't be able to get a government contract because they might bring your social security number or see that you're linked to something. Could it have potential problems with child support and things like that? Yes. However, there's always a way around it. There's always a way around it. You could always get to do business somehow, some kind of way.
Okay. And that's good. I know several people are going to love to hear that. The next one I get right now is the time if you have subs or employees, you got to start sending out your W-2s and 1099s.
Yep.
And who do they need to have those actually sent out to their subs and employees?
So anybody that they paid over $600 in compensation, that is not a corporation. So it's for unincorporated people who have done $600 or more worth of work. You have to issue them a 1099 EIC. It used to be a 1099 MISC or 1099 miscellaneous. The IRS was bored, so they said we're going to create a new form called the 1099 non-employee compensation form. So now that's what people have to send out. And you're supposed to send it out by January 31st to anybody that qualifies for that. Same thing for W-2s. If you have employees, you're supposed to send it out by January 31st because the IRS don't want you interrupting their flow. And if you don't get out those forms to those people, a lot of times they do not file, even though they still have a duty and responsibility to file. So you got to be very careful about that. And you can get fines. You can get fines if you don't file your 1099s and W-2s.
And now that includes if you're getting just a helper, if they're getting a helper just to ride with them every now and then to help out, and they paying them cash or through Cash App, they need to send them a 1099.
Technically, yes. Now we know how it goes, right? Some people don't want a 1099. They don't want no traces. They don't want no problems. But that's the rule. How you apply the rule, that's your business. I'm just the messenger telling you, what the deal is.
Okay. All right. And that kind of leads into our next one. What happened if you got subs and W-2, you got subcontractors who don't want you to give them a 1099 and they refuse to give you their EIN number, or you got employees who refuse to give you their social security number or give you false social security numbers.
So if they give you false information, there's really nothing you can do about that. So knock that one off the table. I wouldn't worry about that. Mm-hmm. For me, what I advise my clients to do for employees and independent contractors / subs, I tell them to onboard their employees or contractors. They need to fill out paperwork. Just like if you go to Amazon or Walmart or anywhere else, you can't start a job until you fill out your paperwork. Where we sending your check, where you live, what's your vital statistics, what's your birthday. Have them fill out paperwork. Run your business like a business. Have them do it up front. Now, I know some people are in the middle of a job. They're just trying to get some people on. They're in a rush, so they might miss it. I would still try to get everybody to fill out what's called a W-9 form for those who have 1099 independent contractors. And I would ask for an employee, you need to have them fill out what's called a W-4 form where they list out everything, give you all their information so you can report it properly. Now, some people will still go ahead when they have people that won't give them the information they need. They'll still go ahead and they'll do all kinds of crazy things. Sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't. I'm not going to advise you to do anything that's unlawful, but things happen sometimes. Things happen.
Yeah. What I do now, because I had that happen to me one time. Somebody was here illegal, and I kept. They're supposed to fill out the W-4s and kept trying to push it, and they put the wrong. They gave me the wrong information one time, and then when I kept pushing it, they quit. By that time, they had got maybe 3 or 4 paychecks. So that what much I can really do.
Right, and that happens, and that's I don't think anybody will find fault with that. That happens. That's a part of doing business, sadly.
Okay, all right. And what happens, like now, like you were just saying, these guys are LLCs, so some companies are not sending them 1099s that they have contracts with for doing work. What do they need to do now? Are they supposed to not claim that money and keep it off the books, or do they need to go ahead and write down exactly what they made from that contract?
So here's the deal. I tell everybody, 1099, contractor, business owner, whatever you want to call yourself, if you get a 1099, you are a business owner. You are to conduct yourself as a business owner, and guess what? You also have the rights of a business owner too. So one of the rights is you get to create this entity that generates cash flow, potentially creates equity for you, yourself, and your family. On the responsibility side, you got to file your taxes, right? So whether you get a 1099 or not, the government, the IRS, still says you have a duty to report your income. Now, here's the thing, because I know a lot of people get a little up in arms about this. Just because you have quote unquote income when you are a business owner doesn't mean that you're going to have to pay tax on that. Because there's this wonderful thing that you get when you're a business owner. You get write-offs. Mm-hmm. So you can write off, you're talking about appliance workers, I'm sure they're in a van. Yeah. You can write off the mileage you're driving in your vehicle. If you don't want to do that, you can actually write off the actual expenses on the vehicle. Whether it's repair, whether it's gas, whether it's tolls, it all depends. You can write off the insurance. If you are a home-based business, like so if you're home-based and an appliance boot camp participant, but you work out of your home, guess what? You can also write off a portion of your home. So whether you pay rent, whether you pay a mortgage, a portion of the taxes, a portion of the utility bills. So you have a lot of wiggle room. So just because you got a 1099 doesn't always mean that you have to pay taxes on that number that's stated. So let's say, I don't think it's uncommon for an appliance tech to make $50,000 or do $50,000. Am I correct in that, Michael?
Oh yeah, they usually make somewhere around about a technician to make about 65, 70,000.
Okay, so I'm going to stick with the 50 just for easy math, right?
Okay.
So some of these jobs. So let me back up. So I know sometimes these techs are deployed contracts from the bigger companies. Yeah. And so a big company might issue you a 1099 for, let's say, $50,000. Mm-hmm. What happens if you hired your buddy? Let's call him Jose. And maybe you also hired Tamika, his girlfriend, to run your books. Mm-hmm. And you paid them $30,000 together. Mm-hmm. So now you got $30,000 in expenses. Right now you only got to pay tax on that $20,000, not on that $50,000. Mm-hmm. And then, right, what other expenses do you have? Did you buy toner for your billables, for your what do they call it when they come out for your service calls, right? Mm-hmm. When you go out on your service calls to mark everything down, did you print those out? Right? Did you buy technology? Because I know now they have where you can put them on tablets and have everything, touch based. Uh-huh. So did you buy a tablet? You can write that off too. Mm-hmm. So the question is, how good are you businessing, right? Are you doing good books? Are you keeping track of the money that came in? Are you keeping track of the money that came out? Because a lot of times you might not owe anything in tax. Everybody was talking about, the last guy that was in the White House, mm-hmm. and how he only owed $750. Now, mm-hmm. it's starting to come out that he did some unscrupulous, fraudulent things. However, he still went along with the tax code, and the tax code allows for a lot of things. So I just encourage everybody to follow the tax code, because when you play around and do some of the funny math, sometimes it might wind you up in jail. Mm-hmm. Think of Fat Joe, think of Lauryn Hill, think of Wesley Snipes, think of DMX. They all did something funny with the money when it came to the IRS, and the IRS didn't like that. But again, we all have the ability to leverage the system that's there for us right now and take advantage of it. So I always say take advantage of the system to the fullest of the extent of the law.
That's good. And we always promote them to start off with this book right here, 475 tax deductions.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there.
But I always say you need to get your CPA, somebody professional to actually do it.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not a CPA. I'm a what's called an enrolled agent.
Enrolled agent. Okay. There you go.
Yep.
All right. And last but not least, this is one I get quite a bit now, especially I have an ice cream parlor now that we sell ice cream. Nice. And a lot of the store owners that I talk to, especially some of the older mom and pops, often up until I started doing the ice cream parlor, I often wonder why they were so hesitant to go towards the credit card processing machine. And they just had an ATM machine. If you go to the ATM, you gotta give me cash. And I started talking to some of them, and they are actually wondering, is Square and all these credit card processing companies, are they gonna just report to the government your credit card processing, or are they going to report your cash too? Because with me, I use my Square to actually keep a tally of how much cash I got in my register throughout the day. And a lot of people, I found out, the older people, they don't do that. They have a separate thing that they use to do
They
the
got
cash.
separate books.
There you go, separate
They got
books.
two sets of books.
Yeah, yeah. So with that, some people have warned me that Square is going to now start to report all of that, but I do mines anyway. But what about people who come in who got that older mindset, but they don't want to embrace the technology because of that?
All I can tell you is the rules. So the rule was if you did $20,000 in transactions through that, what they call third party networks or credit card networks, and 200 transactions, these companies were going to report your info to the IRS. A lot of people are mad. I just did a video about this on my channel. The new rule is $600. So anything over $600 gets reported. Any business transactions over $600 gets reported to the IRS. But the rule is still the same, like I just broke down. Just because you're getting this, what's called a 1099K, doesn't mean that, let's say again, you did $50,000 in transactions. Does not mean you have to pay tax on the $50,000. That just means you got to go back. Excuse me, guys. You got to go back, look at your books, see what the revenue is, see what your expenses are, and begin to do the accounting and the math and figure out what's going on.
I'm glad you just said that because I was misinterpreting that new thing. I was thinking if you sent anybody, like if I was sending my daughter, like I sent my daughter allowance, I thought if it went over $600 for the year, then they were going to report that too. A family
No.
member.
I mean, I actually broke down the law. I pulled up the law, the statute. The statute actually accounts for that. It says for goods and services. And a lot of people are confused about it too. They're like, well, what if I go buy my daughter a couch? Or if I send my daughter money for that? No, it's for the commercial sale of goods and services. If you're not doing that, if it's a personal thing and you're sending your daughter some money, or you might want to send your old lady, or maybe I'm sure you got some female texts out there. They might want to send their sugar daddy some money because he treated them so good over the years. You don't want to pay him back a little something. No, you're not paying tax on that. That's a personal transaction. Listen, if you want to see America burn down, let that happen. That they actually have to pay taxes. I know people are mad because of the reporting change. People don't like change. I get that. They get confused a lot of times. But let you actually have to pay tax on your transactions outside of your sales tax. We would have a big problem. You talk about storming the Capitol. Them folks, not us. Them folks really gonna storm the Capitol.
Yeah. I'm glad you explained that because I was thinking like I said I use Cash App to my daughters and my son, and then I said, man, I gotta start paying taxes on that money, going back and forth. So that's great.
But here, let's break that down a little bit though, right?
Okay.
Why would they make this change to this rule? Like you just said, you use Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. It's not always for personal use. There's a lot of people who are using it for business, but they have it registered. They have it registered as personal. So they're trying to skate under the radar, and it's not like that. It's like with anything else. The reason why the criminals like cash is because it's harder to track. Well, if that's the life you want to live, fine, no judgment here, but you got to act accordingly. You don't want to process transactions on an electronic network that the government has already had access to anyway. So if you want to have a gripe, you might want to take that up with yourself.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day with PayPal, you could select somebody as a friend or family,
Right. Yep.
and didn't have to pay the fee.
Yes.
But yeah, I admit I was one of those when I saw that, especially when Square it came real like yesterday when I got the email that they had a 1099 for me because I use Square and even to send receipts to customers that pay me cash. So if they
A
pay
lot of
me
people.
cash, yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
So,
I have a lot of customers who use Square. Their food business, caterers,
mm,
not Steve, cheesesteak trucks,
mm,
a few other businesses. They use Square. They get all the transactions,
mm,
and they use it for the reporting. It's not a problem. But if you're looking, so some, let's keep it real. Like some people are actually looking to get over.
right.
I can't, I can't help them,
Right.
right? And again, like I said, I'm just a messenger. I just try to. I don't do the whole lie and angle thing to try to get you to come into my channel. I just tell you the truth. I tell everybody I'm here to tell you the truth without a whole lot of shenanigans, straight no chaser.
Uh-huh.
If you don't like that, then that's not my fault. I'm just the messenger. That's all I'm trying to do. Because I see so many people get jacked up. I see people that follow some of the advice of the people that are online. And yeah, I'm throwing myself into that mix too. But some people have, in my opinion, no integrity, no character, and they're just trying to get butts in the seats so they can get money in their pocket. And to me, that's bad money. I don't believe in chasing all money.
Yeah, and that was something I had to come to grips with too. I thought when I first got here, I thought YouTube, everybody was sincere, everybody doing up and up business, and then I found out it's entertainment, and that it took me a while to get my head around it. That most of it's entertainment. So,
Yeah,
we're gonna read some.
a lot of it is entertaining. I mean, I have to give the disclaimer because the other side is I have to say this live right here is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Yes.
I lean more heavily on the education, but
No,
some people might be entertained by
no.
just the way I talk or respond to certain things, and I can't help that. But I try to do everything that I show references to the IRS site or any other financial topics that I'm talking about. I look at it kind of from like a teacher slash journalistic standpoint. Like, here, these are the facts, y'all, and go fact check me.
Yeah.
And I know you saw me on Erica's show.
Yeah, I did.
I said something on Erica's show, right, that somebody checked me on, and I was cool with it.
Mm,
I said something about the dropout rate in Philadelphia,
mm,
and it was old information.
mm,
And I was cool with it because I was operating off of old data.
mm,
And so, but I went and found it. I was like, yo, I didn't make this up. This is the source.
mm.
But it is my bad that I didn't take the time to go re-up and re-educate myself. And I talked about this thing in a public forum. So I do believe in being responsible.
Okay, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
We're gonna read some of the stuff we got in the chat.
Cool.
Like always, if you all like to come in and ask any questions, that's the link in the actual chat button. And like I say, I want to thank you again, man. This is very informative. Like I say, I'm learning a lot, and the people who was asking me these questions, I know they're glad to hear it. Especially the ones that say that they can go still start their LLC, even though they haven't filed taxes.
Again, America is the home for the so-called free, right? But America is always open for business. Always. Don't forget that.
Well, matter of fact, as I say that now, how do they get current? They have to just try to go back and get the old W-2s and file, or do they?
No, so there's a couple things you can do, right? If you don't have your old records, so one, you can file, right?
Mm-hmm.
Problem with that is a lot of people don't have their records.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have your records, you can do is you can open an IRS online account. I encourage everybody to do that anyway. It's free. Go to irs.gov, excuse me, go to irs.gov and open an online IRS account. Then that way you can go in and you can check your tax records. Everybody knows the IRS has been backed up. Hold times have been crazy. They've been hit by COVID. You can actually go on there and get a blow by blow of what's actually happening when certain things go on, because the IRS is still processing tax returns from as far back as 2019. Right now it's 2022. Wow. So they're still far back and they're still behind on processing mail. But if you create this online account, you can see that. And to come back to answer your question is, you can also pull your transcripts. So you can pull what's called your wage and income transcripts. You want to ask for them unredacted, right? Because if you just ask for them regular, they'll just give you the information. Let's say you worked a job, you worked at let's say you worked at Walmart, right? You worked at Walmart, made 50 grand, It'll tell you that you worked at Walmart, but it won't give you Walmart's EIN number. So it's hard to do the tax return for that. But you can get all those records going back to, I want to say, at least 10 years. And then you could either file them yourself, because there's a lot of systems online that you could do it yourself, or you could hire somebody like me to file them, or you could hire somebody like me to go investigate and do research on your tax account as well, and they'll come through and they'll tell you what you need to do to get in what the IRS calls compliance, which basically means just filing your taxes and to their standard, and you can do all that. Now, I think everybody should file their taxes. Number one, if you don't file and you owe money, they charge you like a gangster. Don't forget that. Number two, if you don't file your taxes and they owe you money, they're not just going to say, hey, I got good heart and I have good character and I'm going to send it to you. No. And you lose that after 3 years if you don't file your taxes. So to me, it makes sense for everybody to file timely, so you can either get the money that you owe out of the way or collect the money that you've overpaid to the government and they're just holding on to like a interest-free loan. So I say stay on top of your taxes as much as possible.
Okay. One last question, because I have this debate. People ask me this a lot. The older people in my community, they say, "Well, I don't work anymore. All I get is Social Security, so I stopped filing taxes." So I was under the impression that even you always have to you go to jail for not pay, you go to jail for not filing your taxes, not for not paying. I thought you had to file anyway to let them know that you're not making any money.
So there is what's called a filing requirement, and usually if you're low income, which a lot of our seniors are who had fixed incomes with Social Security, maybe a small pension, might fall beneath that threshold. And usually that number is whatever your standard deduction number is. But here's the thing. A lot of our seniors, some of them have money in the bank, right? So it's not just Social Security. So they also might get an interest statement. They might have some money in the stock market. They might have some dividends, right? So if you got Social Security, pension, interest, dividends, maybe they might have a rental property. You still probably need to file your taxes, but it's a case-by-case situation, just like everything else. Personal finance is personal. So, everybody's situation is going to be different. Nobody's situation is alike.
But they need to have somebody to evaluate and make sure they don't need to file before they get
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Yes.
Make sure
they need to find out.
Need to find out. Just don't say, "Oh, I get Social Security now. I ain't filing no more taxes."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna read some of the stuff we got here in the chat. We got BK from the Rockies. Say, "What's good, fam? Hey, how you doing, BK?" 89 Dr. Funk. What's going on? Say, "What's up?" They got some networking. My apps. What's up, Mike and ABC family? Hey, how you doing, my apps? And once again, that's the link if you would like to come into the live. If you got any questions for Camari, just type them in. You got any tax questions? Live Electronics, say good evening, ABC family. Hey, how you doing? Debt Free Dad, what's good, family? Hey, how you doing?
That's my guy right there. What's up, Debt Free Dad?
Oh, okay, there you go. All right, BK from the Rockies, say if you're using PayPal, Cash App, or whatever, it sounds like the government is watching that too for the current tax year.
The government's always watching. Right, so let's not play that game. The government is always watching. The dude, what's that guy, Edward Snowden, told us that they were listening on our cell phones. They're infiltrated certain social media companies. So I would always feel that they're watching anyway. That's why I feel that it makes sense to just do it right, so you can avoid any of that stuff anyway. Because folks that look like me and you, they love to lock up.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I had to cut 2 big checks. Going back to these opportunity zones. I got false information. I thought as long as you move the business into the opportunity zone and you bought a building here, or you put a business here, I thought that you automatically get the right, get the tax free for 10 years. Didn't nobody tell me, oh, it got to come from. It had to come from what I call it old money. It had to come from capital gains. I can bring my new entrepreneurship money in,
right.
And then the money I did put in to buy the building, I had to put so much more of new money into it, running invest. At the end, it cost me about I paid about 27. Paid about 27. I had to pay.
I mean, you making money, brother.
No, that's me listening listening to the YouTube listening to YouTube and stuff, and thought I'd just go.
Listen, I tell people all the time, you can't Google everything.
Yeah.
You can't. You just, there's a lot of good information on Google. There's a lot of good information on YouTube, but there's certain things that you can only learn through expertise. I'm sure, when you go out and service, I'll use me, right? My stove just broke. I can't even get nobody out to fix it. I'm actually I'm buying a new stove.
Yeah.
I tried YouTube and some of the stuff, and they was telling me certain things. I couldn't get it. That's not what I do. That's not what I do. So yeah, I could Google it and I could YouTube it, but sometimes you just ain't gonna get it unless you're really dedicated to trying out different stuff with a stove. But I already got a job in the business, so I don't have a whole lot of time to go down the rabbit hole of YouTube universe.
There you go. And we got any services? I know we got a couple of them in Philly, so
Okay.
reach out to Camari if y'all can help him out with the stove. V-Man 626 checking in. Good evening, ABC fam. Hey, how you doing? Debt-free dad. Tax avoidance. Great tax evasion prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here we go. 89 Dr. Funk. I thought that was on all transactions too. Thanks for clearing that up, bro. Yeah, I was under that because that's what a lot of people. I've seen 2-hour shows on people saying that it's going to be on all transactions, and the people, I guess as you say, the sugar moms and them going to have to start getting 1099s.
But I wonder, did anybody read the law, or did they just read another post? Because the law is out there to read. I mean, in my video, I broke down the law. I like to pull the real receipts, and it states it in the law.
I think you're right. People just read another post, or it's something that gets a lot of views.
I know.
BK for the Rocky. Make sure you like the stream. Yeah, and if you hadn't already, go over to Kamari's YouTube channel, The Financial Rebel, and like and subscribe. All right, Mr. O, what's going on? Greetings, Mike and ABC fam. Mike, thanks for recommending Texamall. It has really streamlined my business as far as scheduling customer goes. Appreciate it very much. Oh man, you're welcome, man. I use that all the time. And what he's talking about, Texamall, is just a call tree. So instead of you have to call your customers every day to get them to actually schedule an appointment, you can just put it all the phone numbers and the customer's name and a spreadsheet, and that program will call everybody in about 2 seconds, and eliminates a lot of being on the phone all the time. All right, that's the link to get in if you need to get in. Fix it again. Thanks, Mike, for recommending the tax book. 475 tax deductions due to the 5 banking accounts. Money was able to pay the taxes on the business. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And when they talk about the 5 banking accounts, we kind of follow profit first.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Mike something. I forget his last name.
Yeah. My CPA hates it because they got to reconcile too many bank accounts.
Yeah, I hate it too. I don't think it. So, all right. Let me qualify that. I don't hate it. I understand the logic, but you got to be really on top of your bookkeeping to do it and do it really well. A lot of your new people are going to mess it up. And so I think it's a little bit too complex for some of the new folks.
So what would you recommend them to? Do you recommend them to just get QuickBooks and separate everything in QuickBooks like that, or
to start? Yeah, I would say get your business account. If you don't have enough money to get a business account, get a separate personal account. Run everything through there, right? All the money you spend for your business, run it out of that account. Run all the money that you make into that account. Go through, like you said, you can do QuickBooks or Wave. I think Wave might be free. I use QuickBooks with my clients, but I think Wave might be free. Again, connect it to your bank, put all your transactions in, categorize all your transactions, and then rock for that. And then if you get a bookkeeper or an accountant to actually run your stuff, then you can start looking at some of the profit first stuff. But I don't like it from a beginner strategy, because I feel like when you're a brand new business owner, brand new to the game, You're trying to figure everything out. Everything's running at you like a 90-mile tractor trailer. And you're trying to figure out how not to get smashed. And that's just another thing that people want you to do or suggesting. Again, in theory, it works, right? But then it's like, well, who is this best applied for? And again, personal finance is personal, small business is personal. There might be some people that just have an aptitude for that, brand new out the gate, and they can do it fine. But what I find, I'm having a hard time getting people just to do their daggone books.
Yeah, that's what I was just ready to say.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
That was the problem when I first started out, is the fact that trying to get everything, keeping up all the bookkeeping and stuff with QuickBooks and stuff. And I couldn't, and then on top of that, I couldn't, because my books wasn't really up to par. I didn't know how much money I had on hand.
Right.
I didn't know, I would see the money in the account, and I just think I got money to spend. I didn't know the accounts payable I had. I didn't know
those subscriptions you got to pay every month.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, I wake up one morning, all my money gone, and I ain't got no money to pay myself. I ain't got no money, no profit or nothing. I started doing the profit first, and from there, it's separated and allocated. So in that operating account, I see, oh, that's how much money I got.
Right.
And then I know, and the other one set aside. But my accountant, she actually pulls all that stuff back together, and she hates me doing it, but I'm able.
I'm sure she charges you for it too, though.
Yeah, she charges me. But in the past, I would have to go on a payment plan for her to pay her. But now I can just write her the check. So I said, now you get your money now all the time. It's not no payment plan like back in the days.
Right, right. So again, I don't hate it. That's probably strong language, but I don't think it's for everybody.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Frank Evans, can you tax a person you pay? Trying to figure out, can you tax a person you pay cash? Wonder what you talk about. Is somebody paying cash? Do they need to pay taxes? Yes, if I'm in North Carolina, we have a sales tax. So you're supposed to collect the sales tax.
But I think what Frank is talking about, though, right, is if you pay cash, you pay somebody cash, should you give them a 1099?
Oh, okay.
So I think, I might be wrong, but I think that's what he's alluding to.
Okay.
So yes, if you pay somebody cash, you still are supposed to issue them a 1099 NEC, 1099 NEC. Some people don't do it. That's your business. But yes, they're supposed to report it. And again, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to pay tax on that money, but they are supposed to report that they're doing business.
And it's what's the amount? It's up to over a certain amount you have to report it.
Over $600.
$600. And with that, he gets to deduct that $600 from his taxable.
Absolutely.
So that's the great thing why you want to give those 1099s out, because if not, you're going to be paying taxes on money that you actually paid out to somebody else.
Right.
Okay. All right. Here we go. When should I elect to be taxed as an S Corp? But we have an LLC.
So an LLC can elect to be treated as an S Corp or a C Corp. I would suggest you doing it only when you are squarely profitable and able to take what's called a reasonable salary, reasonable compensation. And so that gets a little bit tricky because I know, again, a lot of people have been promoting getting S Corps. There's more work to be done with them. So once you get into the corporation lane, you have to keep corporate minutes. That's more administration work. You definitely need to do more tracking in your bookkeeping, so your books need to be good. But again, if you want to pop in and you making money, it might make sense to do an S Corp, and an S Corp might actually help save you some money along the line.
Yeah, and usually my CPA, like you said, once the business start making a lot of money, she preferred I go to an S Corp and then put myself on a salary.
That's right.
So I won't have to pay that $27.30, and I can pay it throughout the year and don't have to pay it all. But that was just a one-time 1 year that I had a bumper year. So hopefully I would like to do it again. I don't see it happening like that again. All right. I may have messed that up. Oh, if you already went to the S Corp, yeah, like you said. The other thing too, one thing I don't quite like S Corp starting off. Cause you got the, it cost me double with my accountant because she got to file a separate tax with the S corp
That is
versus the
correct.
LLC. So now I'm getting charged double, and then you got issue stock too. I think with the S corp. Don't you? They
Well,
give you stuff 100%. I think.
yeah, it's a part of the operating agreement, but
Yeah,
it's more work. It's more
yeah,
work all the way around.
yeah, yeah. And like you say, you got to file those corporate minutes and all that stuff every year.
Yeah, you should have that because here's the deal. Anytime you're looking at the LLC, the S corp, the C corp, it's really about asset protection. It's not so much about tax benefits. It's about asset protection. So if you own some stuff and you're afraid that somebody's going to try to sue you over and above whatever insurance you might have, then yeah, it might make sense to have an LLC, an S corp, or a C corp. But again, everybody's situation is different. But I find most people should just start off with their social security number
You
and
think
just
it should
file.
be sole surprise?
Yeah,
Sole
just be a
surprise?
sole proprietor. Because even when you file an LLC, a solo member LLC, the IRS doesn't care about that. They call it a disregarded entity.
Right, right.
You still file the sole proprietorship paperwork. And typically it is a little bit more than your regular, W-2, 9 to 5 paperwork, but there's less administrative work, which means there's less stress on you in the beginning. Now, again, once you get going, you're making money, you're established, you got your process down, you got your systems down, you got your people in place. Now we're in another ball game, baby. Things change. So every time your business changes, then you got to change. Your business has to change.
But what happens if you're in suppose they're in a business, like you said, protecting your personal assets. You're in a business, suppose like they working on a gas oven and unfortunately they have a gas leak and something crazy happened, burn somebody's house or Lord hope nobody never get killed.
Right.
Would you then prefer if they're in a field that's going to have a higher risk of something bad happening like that to actually go LLC to protect them uh, from protect their personal assets from
The,
anything
the,
like that?
the question is, do they have anything to really protect? So if they don't, no, and I'm not trying to be funny, right?
uh,
Listen,
uh, uh,
life is weird. You
uh,
can be 100 millionaire and then be broke the next day,
right.
right? And you could be a guy starting out super poor, dirt poor, and you're really getting it from the mud, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's different strategies for different times of life. Um, but if you're working in this field and there's a high probability that the oven might blow up, I would opt for making sure you have plenty of insurance first.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is people will get these LLCs, people will get these S corps, and they say, "Oh, my assets are protected," and they don't get no insurance.
Right, right.
And what people don't realize is that when you have these type of situations, you want to have insurance because insurance have big legal departments.
Mm-hmm.
You yourself, you ain't got no legal department.
Mm-hmm.
It's just John trying to make his way up, and you just trying to figure it all out. But what happens is, even if you have an LLC or an S corp, a lot of people do what's called commingle money, meaning that they take their business money
Uh-huh.
and they mix it with their personal money. So that's called commingling, right? They take their business money and they put it in their personal account.
Mm-hmm.
They take their personal money, put it in their personal account. So it's all mixed up. And so if you do have to ever go to court, what happens is the judge will say, this is not a real entity. This is your alter ego, and they will do what's called pierce the veil
Uh-huh.
of your LLC or your corporation, which basically means that you have no asset protection.
Yeah.
And so if you are not going to run a business right, separate books, separate bank account, separate credit card, separate everything, plus insurance, whether it's, sole proprietor or LLC or any of the other flavors of the month, then you might want to really think about if you are ready for doing business yet. But, again, it all depends. It all depends. But yeah, if you have a home, if you have some rentals, if you have some stock, yes, you probably should be thinking about some form of asset protection through entity like an LLC, an S corp, a C corp, something along those lines. You there, Mike? Uh-oh, did we freeze? Can you all hear me? Is it me or is it Mike?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Something happened. We got an ice storm coming out, so it might power must have glitched a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, that was great information, and that's one of the things that we do when they start out. They have to get insurance, and they go to a third party warranty company. It tells them the exact insurance they need to have and the exact
Great.
coverage, and
Great.
that's the main reason why I tell them to start with third party and don't try to go straight into business because they go straight into business, no insurance, you in
Right.
trouble. You in
I'll,
trouble.
I'll be honest. The insurance is more important than the LLC.
Yes.
I'm just being honest.
That is good stuff. Let's see what the next one is. Uh, let's see from here. A9 Dr. Funk. Man, I realized I would rather run calls than do admin work in my office. Laugh out loud.
I
I
ain't
was
mad at
actually
that.
on a call today, but just to get away from doing bookkeeping for taxes. Yeah, this is probably one of the first times in probably 5 or 6 years where I went last minute. I had everything already there. I started off with my ice cream parlor. I usually try to do the books and
Uh-oh. Did you freeze again, Mike? That ice storm must be wrecking havoc. You there, Mike? All right, everybody. Is it me or is it Mike? If it's me, say me. If it's Mike, put Mike in the chat. I can see the chat. Mike, you there? It's Mike again. Okay. All right, well, listen, we'll keep it rolling until Mike comes back. If y'all got any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Uh-oh, it's just me. All right, y'all know what's going to happen now. When the cat's away, the mice will play. So any questions y'all might have about taxes or business, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer those. I'm sure Mike will be back right away, though. There he is. There's Mike.
Yeah, the power is flickering here. So,
Okay.
maybe that's a sign I need to go on home myself. It's good. We've been in right at about an hour.
Okay.
I really thank you, man, for joining and giving this information. This is very, very valuable. I've learned a lot tonight. I know that the ABC family has learned a lot. And you going on live in a few minutes, right? To do the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, I'm going on live at 9:30, about 9:30, 9:35-ish. Last night we did a live talking about the top 10 IRS fraudulent charges. I couldn't finish it because between answering questions and everything else, I was like, we got to come back. So they said they wanted me to come back tonight, and so we'll do it. So you can catch me on over at the Finance Rebel channel.
Okay.
And Mike, you coming on with me next week, right?
Anytime you just let me know the day, I'll be there, and
Okay.
I'll let the family know.
Okay.
I got one guy coming in. I'm gonna try to hold him on to see. I got him. I'm gonna read one more question, then I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully, my lights will be on for that.
Okay.
What's up, 89 Dr. Funk?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I wanted to ask a quick question before you jump off. Hopefully you don't freeze, Mike. Quick question. It's about the chameleon. So let's say, for example, in my personal account, I used some money to purchase some appliance stuff, and I went ahead and let's say, for example, I bought a part, installed it to a customer's refrigerator,
hmm
and the customer or the warranty company paid me and direct deposited into my business account, and I wrote myself a check to pay myself back. Is that chameleon funds?
No, it is not. That is actually the way you're supposed to do it.
Okay, all right, cool. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah, because I know sometimes I might get in a situation where my personal funds I use to
Yeah,
pay for the
and we all do, right? So
Yeah.
please, that wasn't a swipe at anybody. Like, that's just life. And again, sometimes it's easier for us to just run and get the job done because we don't want to miss out on the cash and get it done and come back and deal with it on the back end. But oftentimes we forget to document and repay ourselves, so it becomes crazy.
Okay, as long as we stated on the personal check that funds paid,
Yep.
as long as we put it on the check as far as documentation or whatnot, we're good. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
No problem. Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one right here. Question for Mike. If I had to sum it up, when it's all said and done, if you were making 100,000 appliance repair, how much do you have left over to put in your personal account? That's gonna change according to what write-offs and stuff that you have and what you got going on. Normally, if you're LLC, if what do you pay, like 13% if you're taking distributions? What is it, 13 or 15?
For an LLC, you don't. Most LLCs are treated just like personal returns.
Just flow through.
Right. And so, the answer to the question, I would say anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000, depending upon how much expenses you got, how well you run your business, the pricing that that you're putting out to your clients to fix their stuff. So I would say anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000.
Yeah, because that one is gonna be kind of crazy. If you finance some vehicles, that's gonna take money out of it. If you paying for leads, I'm not paying for leads, so that'll take money out of it. It's just too much. You gotta see how you make your money coming through there.
But Mike, I think you were talking about the self-employment tax, which is 15.3%.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And that accounts for your Social Security and Medicare taxes. Oddly enough, right, people are promoting S Corps. Mm-hmm. The IRS still wants you to do that. Some people are able to kind of skate and get over without doing it, because you can take a distribution from your S Corp and theoretically not pay any money back, especially if it's a part of the money that you had put in to start the business in the first place. But you got to keep good records, and the IRS is starting to crack down on that.
Yeah, that's what I normally would do. My owner's equity, I would put it in, and then I'd get it back out.
Yep.
I used to call it right pocket, left pocket. So let's see here. My tax guy said to me last year to file as a sole pro with my W-2s, and as my company earned, he can change accordingly. Okay.
Yep.
And like Camari said, your insurance will protect you if anything bad happens.
Don't go cheap on insurance, folks. Do not go cheap on insurance.
I got a question about that. If they pierce your corporate veil, then you stuck anyway. You personally liable. But suppose your insurance will catch you. I can say something like if it's something bad happened, your insurance pay. If you couldn't pay and they got a judgment, that'd be a personal judgment against you versus going against your actual company, a judgment for your company.
It could be both. It could be both. There are times where, let's say you're the owner. Matter of fact, this is a great example. And I'm not a lawyer, right? I don't play a lawyer, but y'all double check these facts with lawyers. You got an appliance boot camp. You're training folks to go out. I'm sure there are people that are using their own vehicles. Mm-hmm. Let's say you get in a car accident while you're driving, while you're working, but you drove. You're still personally liable. The company might cover some of it, but there's a high potential that you could be personally liable. So having an LLC, having a corporation does not totally absolve you of any kind of liability, especially if you're negligent. So
with that too, I know a lot of the companies with your insurance, because say like if I got a sub and not saying that sub out, he might be on his car, but he's doing a job for me. I gotta have coverage on his insurance. Got to cover me too for sending him out there on the job, because they can come back to me and say, "You sent them out there,
right?
You want to send them out there too."
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see here. Read this one, then we're gonna. I'm positive we're getting out here. Then, if your business is not staff sufficient, meaning you have to carry business expenses on your personal accounts, does that pierce your corporate veil? All income and business you shouldn't carry business expenses in your personal account.
So I'll answer that, right? Again, I like to deal with real life scenarios, and that's a real life scenario, right? Just like your guy, Dr. Funk, $89 phone. Very similar, very similar. So here's what should happen. You start a business and you also work at a 9 to 5. You got a side hustle for right now. There's nothing wrong with that. That's honorable. You have to take money from your business to fund, take money from your 9 to 5 to fund your business. Again, honorable. Here's how it should technically work in theory, okay? The pierce of the corporate veil is not going to matter until you go to court. But the courts are going to want to look and see how you conduct yourself. Your records will reflect how you conduct yourself. And they'll be able to say, oh, he just threw this together last minute, or this guy clearly has good records, copious notes, very meticulous, right, about his stuff. You can see it in the documentation. I mean, y'all seen people that have got good handwriting, y'all seen people who have bad handwriting, right? You know that the person that's got bad handwriting to try to fix it up real quick, that ain't what they do. They might have got a little contest real quick and tried to make the A's straight and the B's curved properly, but that ain't always how it works. But you can, what you should do, I'm gonna give you the textbook answer. What you should do is, you're starting a business, like I said earlier, start a business account or start a personal account. Take a portion of your personal money from your paycheck. Let's just say it's $100 every pay. Start depositing that into your business account. Whether you're using a business account or you're using this personal account as a proxy for your business account, right? But it's not your everyday personal account where you're handling your regular business. Start putting money into that account. And then that way you build up a reserve, you build up some money, and then when it's time for you to do some business, you then spend it out of that account. And you know, again, if you make some money and you need it, you could write yourself a check from your business account and then deposit it into your personal account. But just make sure you label and document everything, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I want to ask you about this because when you first start off, you might start off, say, like your cell phone. Your business don't have any credit, and you using your what used to be your personal cell phone to run business acquisition. Now, at the end, right now, it might show up as a personal phone, but when you go do your taxes, then you can actually write off as being business. Then it become a business expense, correct?
So here's the thing, and there's case law on this.
Okay.
The auditors know that you're not using your business phone or your phone that you have for business 100% of the time for business. They know that you calling your boo thing, you calling your girl. Again, if you're a woman, you might be calling your old man. So what I always recommend is to take about 50%. So if your phone bill is $100 every month, take $50 of it and then credit that to the taxes.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we're not gonna hold Camari anymore because we got a bunch of questions. We'll keep him here all night. We're gonna get Camari on again to actually help us with our taxes and clear up any questions and stuff we have. And like I say, if you got more questions, tune into his channel. He'll be going live in about 30 minutes. And I hope I can be on his channel next week. Come talk about the appliance boot camp or whatever he likes.
Next Wednesday. Listen, that's important, man. People need that work.
Yeah.
People need that.
Yeah. Once again, thank you all for watching. If you hadn't already, like and subscribe to my channel and to Camari channel. And I'll talk to you all on Monday. Okay. See you later.